call for Saturday, the 3rd of August. So today we have a fair bit happening on Snapshot and in the discussions, so I will get right to it. We have had 2 proposals close in the last week. Both of them were agates and they both passed. So White Ranger's Gotchi Chain Battleverse demo made it through with 79.44% of the vote in favor. Quorum hit 10 million. And so now we can look forward to the next 7 months of Gotchi Chain Battleverse coming to fruition. The next Agip 126 was for Rarity Farming Season 9. So that has also passed with 90.79% in favor. Quorum hit 9.5 million. So we have Season 9 locked in. We also have open proposals. So we have Flames Unity Defensive Aave. This has gone up again because we didn't get the 10% differential in the last SIG prop. So it is up again for voting. So if anyone has any questions about it, Flame is more than happy to answer anything in the thread for this proposal. If you need to get any more information one way or the other as to which way you want to vote. We still have 7 days left, so there's plenty of time, and we're in the 60% against at the moment. So there have been a few votes that did actually leave comments, which is nice, so that moving forward we can work out what went wrong or what didn't went right with the proposal and what people's concerns were. So if you are voting no or yes, the more comments, the better for any future resubmissions. So the next proposal we have is Agip 127, increasing XP award to 250 XP for successful core Agips. So Phantasma and Dr. Like Me have authored this one. We have 9 days left and it is looking good. We have 80% in favor. Quorum is currently at 6 million, so we still have some time to get that one over the line, and then hopefully all goes well and we can get some housekeeping done and other proposals that might have been held back could come to the surface with this one. Next up, we have the SIG prop for tipping for Aavegotchi community apps. So E3, Aavegotchi 1, PG, Thifu, Mikey J have all come together on this one. They have been, well, they created and have maintained apps that we have all been using to get our Gotchi on. So we have this proposal to help them with their maintenance costs in a small way and incentivize more features and future work with these apps. So currently looking pretty good. We have 90% in favor and we are not far away from meeting quorum. So we have 7 million quorum. Where are we here? And we still have plenty of time for this one again. So get your votes in and we can hopefully get this one over the line once and for all. The next one we have, this has closed, was our Golden Dancing Dan proposal. So if you haven't been in the forums, this one is essentially an experiment to see how people are voting, how much time people need to be warned about votes, how well short votes go. As expected, this one did not meet quorum and only hit 2.1 million in the 4 days it was open. So if you have any thoughts about how the voting is going and when proposals are up, Flame is thinking heavily on how Snapshot is working and his thread is where you want to go for any more thoughts on that. And then lastly, we have the replacement DAO director election. So this still is open. There is not much time left on this one, only a few hours. Currently, Aavegotchi 1 is leading the vote with 47%, then Fifu, T-Bird, and Musashi 13. So this is for our DAO director to replace Mori, who has stepped down a while ago. And this brings us up to the original amount of directors we agreed on. So if you haven't voted yet, please do get your votes in. You do not have much time left for this one. Quorum has been reached, and we will have a new DAO director very soon. So that is everything for the snapshot review. Moving on, we have a quick Aavegotchi update from user default and maybe Thrax as well. So if one of you would like to take it away, let's see what is happening in the world of Aavegotchis.
How many Mechagotchis is going to be ready for the arcade machine in Detroit?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can. Hello.
Hey, so let's see here. So the latest update, at least from my end, is we were able to get MetaMask functionalities to the Mechagotchi. So now we can go ahead and load up. Let me see if I can just put it on my screen. Is it working?
I can see it there, yeah?
Oh, you can see my screen though, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So yeah, so basically now now that we added the Web3 functionality to it, so now we can go ahead and you can connect with MetaMask now. Let me scan this thing real quick. Hold on, let me get my let me go get my phone. Quick. So now we can go ahead and we're almost done with the users register, and then it pulls up all the gotchis. So this part is done from my end. In terms of the game, I was hoping Thrax would be available to demo that part. Because my part was really just to add the MetaMask functionality to it. But surely after this, we're really close to the MVP because I did have a chance to actually play the game and it was pretty cool. So I know we're really close. Like so now that we have the Web3 in there, it should get us to a place where we should have an MVP coming out soon to you guys. But we just wanted to share the fact that we finally got Web3 capabilities added to the game. And I just want to give a big shout out to Inumai. Um, if it wasn't for him and putting together that Aavegotchi Unity kit, like I would be stuck forever having to do all the WebGL stuff. So if anybody knows him, just let him know or give him a pat on the back because it's been a real big help for us on this end. I think that's it. Yeah, that's really all the update I have on my end for it. If Drax is available to come up, then he could probably share some extra information.
No worries. Well, tragically, Thrax fried his computer, so are you there?
I did, yes. I'm here. It's a little loud where I'm at, but if it's too loud, let me know when I cut up.
It's all
But
good.
yeah, my PC decided to commit harakiri at the beginning of the week, so it was it last week? I don't know. It's been a terrible week. But essentially the game is ready playable. We have not done larger scale tests like with a full lobby of 10 players, but we're at a point now where all the damage works, all the weapons work. It's been such an experience figuring this out, honestly, because at first it started off we were like we were very simple with the game, and we should possibly may have like we might have done better if we had stayed simple, essentially, like in terms of timeline. But I'm so proud of what we've built. It feels so good. It feels like Gotchiverse but mechs. You know what I mean? Like we really did a good job with that, I think, and I'm really excited to share it with you guys. It's definitely very different than anything else we have in our ecosystem.
It's definitely something I'm looking forward to seeing. The images you've dropped previously have been pretty epic. So I'm excited for this one. My computer won't be able to handle it, but I'll be very keenly watching everyone else.
Well, for what it's worth, we do have settings, so you can turn like graphics down and things like that. So it should help a little bit. I'm not sure how well it works. With my PC before it died was a beast, so I never really had to try. And my laptop, I never really ran it on. I should try it on my laptop, but my laptop's also kind of a beast, so I'm not sure if that's. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I think a beast is definitely not how I could describe mine. Mine is a senior citizen. It is on its last legs. I'm scared to turn it off or restart it at any moment.
Oh, don't what? You leave it running, and it's old.
Yeah, it has not turned off apart from restarts in I don't know how long. So I'm scared of it. It's just somehow
I think
alive. It's been like 15 years. I don't know. But yeah, it's still kicking.
I think at this point it's scared of you, honestly.
It could be. It's not allowed to leave me. Well, that is awesome to hear that Mechagotchis is on its way slowly but surely. The Web3 is integrating, and we look forward to some more updates. Is there anything else you wanted to add, or is that all for today?
I think that's pretty much it. We're basically hoping to finish integration at some point next week. I'm not sure if we'll finish it soon enough to run uh, an internal test, like with the alpha pilots. Whoever's in the server essentially can play. So jump in. Let me grab the link. I will drop it. But yeah, so hopefully 1-2 weeks we should be running. My dev is really excited to get going. Like the guy that's been with me since the start, he's raring to go. He's like, when are we gonna start? How's the community liking the game? I'm like, dude, go down. We're almost there.
Awesome. That's not far away at all. That's very cool to hear. Very nice. Well, the only other update I had on previous props was that the arcade machine has landed, been unboxed. It's in like Piglet's capable hands, and he will be taking it to its first event. So that is exciting, and it's just up to someone to design a skin for it now. We have asked this a couple times now. There are some templates floating around in the chat if you need some help to size it right, and let's see if we can get some creative juices flowing. It's just waiting for some clothes. And that is all for the updates. Moving on to the discussions in the forums, we have Immaterial has a very active thread going with the Gotchi Battler open sourcing discussion. So the open sourcing was part of the DAO proposal that was approved. So it is something that is supposed to be happening, but now he's looking to get the finer points tweaked and all the nitty gritty worked out. So there's been a lot of discussion, pros and cons, talking about solvers and game logic when we want to be able to verify the results, things like that. So I mean, it's all very technical. And if you have any thoughts on how to go about the open sourcing, please jump into that thread and contribute, because it is very active and it appears to be making progress with reaching consensus. Some people have been swayed one way and the other to change their minds. So it is definitely looking promising and is one to keep an eye on. Following that, though, our next proposal is for the Aavegotchi chain story. So this has been posted by Venerable Mudgeon, and he is going to come up today and give us some more information about his idea for on-chain storytelling. So let's see if we can get him up on stage here. Are you available, sir? Can you raise your hand? I'm having trouble pulling you up on stage. There we go.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hello, we can hear you. Welcome.
Thank you. So I don't know what to say other than I have the proposal there, and I'm just starting to work on the proposal. I've set up the development, and I'm starting on smart contract today. And I was kind of looking for any other people that wanted to work with me in some capacity on it. And so like yesterday, a developer, a web developer reached out to me, and he seems pretty good. Who just wants to work with me on it on the web part, and um, yeah, and so I don't know if people know about it, but it's this idea of creating a story about an Aavegotchi, where an author creates some part of a story. It could be short, it could be long or medium, and okay, so and then that gets added, and then another author goes and creates the next part of the story, and then existing authors then vote on different submissions, and um, there's various mechanics about it that is listed in the proposal, and but it's just sort of this fun thing, and I'm hoping that an interesting story gets created, and yeah, I don't know if people have questions or
Yeah, I'll have a look in the
what.
chat. I mean, it's definitely an interesting idea. I love the idea of on-chain storytelling and authors continuing on the story. In your current idea, you have it down for 7 days, kind of like for each round for the stories to be submitted, and glitter is being used to when you submit your story, so that glitter is then split between all the previous authors who have had a story approved, and those people are the ones that are allowed to vote or able to vote on the stories. So it's definitely an interesting idea. Let's see.
Yeah, that's right. When a person submits a story, they also specify a certain amount of glitter. And so when the existing authors vote on a story, they're looking at how good the story is and how much glitter they're providing. And that glitter actually just provides voting, that the voting power that the authors have. It gets so when a part of the story is accepted and the glitter is transferred in, that glitter is equally divided on the existing authors as their voting power, so that when someone votes, their power is dependent on how much voting power they have, and that's where the glitter comes in. And it's also possible to withdraw some of your voting power, and in which case you're withdrawing the glitter that's been allocated to you. Yeah,
Awesome.
so it's kind of an interesting mechanism. Yeah.
Definitely add something to it. Do you use it as a bribe slash incentive to make authors more inclined to vote for your story, or do we go purely for, hopefully, the literacy side of it and try and vote only for the really good stories or continuations of the story? And the other idea part of this was to have a website following it along, and potentially an artist creating images to go with all the approved storylines. So that is another part that would be really interesting to see, to watch the visual side of it unfold as well. We have
Yeah,
plenty of
absolutely. I'm hoping that an artist or multiple artists would be willing to, create some art to show the journey of the story.
I think that adds a very cool element. Mintable Art, Thrax is asking, what are your thoughts on the art side of it? Is it just an accompaniment, or can we add more?
You know, I'm flexible about that. Like I'm interested in people participating however they want to. So if someone wanted to make the mintable art for the story, then I think that's great. Yeah, so it's kind of like what do people want to do to a large degree? Like how do they want to do it? And I'm pretty flexible about, you know, how people want to do things. So like I'm focused on a smart contract and how that's going to work, and then other, you know, I'm really interested in working with other people and interested in their ideas and how they want to do things.
Awesome. So looking at your proposal you put up, so a website developer, graphics designer, and potentially promoters are who you've thought of so far. So anyone that is interested in the idea, is interested in any of these roles, wants to add their 2 cents, the thread is open and all comments and participation is welcome. It'd be really cool to get this idea moving. We did have a law related discussion a couple weeks ago as well, so it definitely feels like lore is becoming a bit of a flavor of the month at the moment. So it's definitely one we should be probably keeping an eye on and making some moves. And where were you thinking of having the voting happen? How was that direct on the website or through Snapshot? Did you have any ideas on that one?
Like voting for a proposal or voting for the change the
Story, yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be on the website. So there'll be the smart contract, and then there'll be a website web app, and the voting and all the functionality for it will be on the website. That's the current idea.
Lovely. So one-stop shop.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, that sounds very cool. I'm just having a look to see if there's any more questions in the chat.
Yeah, I'll just say I've gotten some feedback that's been useful, and I'm interested in more feedback. Like some people said, well, you know, how should it end? I've gotten the idea of like, well, can you make it into an NFT? And so there's still some ideas floating about that by, you know, some things people have asked about, which has been useful. So I appreciate the feedback or sharing ideas.
Awesome. Well, the thread is there. FaZe has it posted in the chat. So anyone else that has any more thoughts or ideas or things they'd like to say, jump on in and let's see where this goes. Just like the story, it would be very interesting imagining that this might actually last years and years of a story. That would be a very exciting way of marking our history as Gotchi, since we are supposed to have a 30-year plan. Maybe we'd end up with nearly 30 years of lore. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah. And I'm hoping, you know, like there's a lot of going on in Aavegotchi, these different games, and so I'm hoping a story like has an Aavegotchi going to different games and going into the Gotchi verse, and like, you know, kind of goes around and does interesting things. So I'm hoping to see something like that.
Same. I'm imagining our Gotchis are very well traveled and keep themselves busy. There's a lot to do in the Gotchiverse these days.
Yeah.
Very cool. So I don't think anyone else has any questions. I think some people mentioned delaying or at least making sure Gotchi Chain is the original home so that nothing has to change down the line. Were you leaning towards Gotchi Chain, or were you thinking of having it ready earlier, or what were your thoughts in that department?
It's not totally decided, but it might be earlier. Glitter is on Polygon, easily accessible there. So it might just go on Polygon. Base is another option. Ethereum's an option. I mean, so it's not totally decided. I think I'm going to survey more people, what people want, like where they want it, and also depending on like how quickly it's done. Well, like so that's a factor. Like okay, it's done, and then seeing what's available at that point and how things are.
Awesome. Well, there we have it. So we just need some more community input and we can start fleshing out the idea and how things could actually work with an on-chain story. So jump on into the forums and let's hear your thoughts. Thank you very much for joining us today. Is there anything else you wanted to add?
I'm good, thank you.
You're good. No problem. Thank you for joining us. And we will be moving on to the next discussion, which was the partial anonymous or shielded voting. So this is another discussion that was started by Flame to add into the snapshot so that when we vote, we can't see what everyone else has already done. Because as we know, there are a fair few people that are just copying whatever the most popular vote is. So this could potentially shake things up a lot, but could get us some genuine consensus or genuine opinions and feedbacks on what these proposals really feel like. So there has been discussion about it. Most people seem in favor, and it seems like it's fairly easy to implement once it's voted through. So did anyone have anything they wanted to say about this one or any questions they had? Any thoughts on anonymous voting?
Hey, I might be able to offer a little update. I saw the comments about anonymous voting a couple weeks ago and reached out to our friends at Aragon. And I was not prepared for this, so I'm just trying to go back and find what they said. But you know, I'm very interested in digging up like options for where we could go with DAO voting on Gotchi chain. And yeah, if you bear with me like a few minutes here, I can
No
kind
problem
of
at
give you
all.
guys verbatim what they said.
Wonderful. It's definitely something we want to keep in mind is how our voting works and what the best practices are, and make sure our DAO is on track and protected.
Yeah, so shielded voting, that basically would give more anonymity to our voters, right? So kind of avoid herdthink and that kind of thing. So here's what Anthony at Aragon said. And when I asked him about this, he said, "Hi, Golden Cross. I'll try to lay out the options here. TLDR, there is no out-of-the-box, on-chain shielded or anonymous voting solution nowadays. Though I know Snapshot does offer something like that. One of their partners does." Then he said, "There's always trade-offs, and I'll try to outline a few options we offer for Gotcha Chain here." So very curious if you guys are interested in these, and they do, you know, some of them cover shielded voting. So option one is we build on-chain shielded or anonymous voting for your DAO to govern the chain, but it would be quite expensive and it wouldn't be a small, easy thing to do. So this is bespoke, this is custom. He says the cool thing is that it could be an industry first, and to some degree, it would be an industry first to some degree and reusable. Right now, our custom development team is finishing up some work for redacted DAOs and a few others I can't name yet. Okay, so maybe he can name. So he said Tycho. He's building something with, they're building something with redacted, shielded voting for Tycho. Now, the other option is, which I think actually makes more sense, is I do think shielded is cool, but I think we're such a multi-chain ecosystem that we might want a multi-chain solution. And he suggested that we can use the Snapshot API and shielded voting and build the Aavegotchi DAO a great all-in-one governance hub with a special supermajority multisig, similar to what we are building for Tycho. The cool thing is we can reuse their audits and their components to do this much cheaper because audits are very expensive. And he said this would definitely be a big step up from a simple snapshot safe setup. and much more transparent. The third choice, which I'm also thinking is a good one, is we don't worry about shielded anonymous voting. And he says we can build a non-shielded on-chain DAO for you. So we've never had an on-chain DAO, right? It could be self-executing, opens up a lot of possibilities on the smart contract side. And he said, yeah, we can build a non-shielded on-chain DAO for you. Depending on the complexity, I don't see why it can't be multi-chain. We've been doing multi-chain work a lot lately. They're doing a lot of this kind of modular type of DAO work. So, and ZK Sync stuff and all the others. So yeah, he said all three options would have, you know, costs and something of a roadmap that we'd have to commit to. But depending on which, they're very different in expense and time and money, and they would be very happy to work with us again. You know, obviously the original bonding curve had a lot to do with Aragon, and they're just really happy to work with us. So I wanted to pass that on this week, and that's the research I did on what we could maybe do for field voting.
Very cool. So more options are available. So did you have any leaning towards one way or the other at this stage, or are you seeing pros and
For
cons with
me,
all
that
of them?
yeah, no, it was just we've got an open chat with them from years past, and that was I will say I threw the question in there. I saw it in Discord. I passed it on, and Anthony was extremely responsive, which I always appreciate. And I don't have a strong feeling. I mean, I guess we're going to Gotchi chain, so I have this feeling that Ghost liquidity is going to be split up over Polygon, Base, even Ethereum, plus Gotchi chain. But I think it's going to majority settle on Gotchi chain pretty soon. However, it might be pretty nice to lean into Aragon's kind of multi-chain, on-chain voting. So I think I care about that on-chain aspect more than you know, the shielded voting part. But yeah, I do think like in terms of like getting voter apathy solved and getting more people to vote, shielded voting could be pretty important. So unfortunately, the options he offered, it's kind of like one or the other. I didn't see a great option that was like both. So that's where
It
my
did
research led
complicate the
me.
decision. I thought it was just anonymous or not, and now we have more options. So
Yeah,
I mean, I'm
sorry.
definitely all for anonymous, but or shielded voting until the vote passes or comes out is finalized. But obviously, down the line, having everything on chain, I would assume is the goal. So it's another thing to keep an eye on and see what that would take, what level of maturity our DAO would need to be able to pull that off with our voting. And sure, many people would have thoughts on that with bigger brains than me. So yeah, it's definitely something we should discuss because some of the votes, I mean, there's definitely still some people just farming XP and getting the SIG props through and changing their vote in the core prop. So maybe this would help and give us a more accurate result with the SIG props so that proposers could fine tune them or make whatever changes are needed to actually make it through. But it definitely is something we should be looking into.
Yeah, if you want, I can probably take what I just read and drop it into the right thread, and so it's documented somewhere.
Yeah, that would be
Anybody that
cool.
wants to run with this are welcome to.
Get the discussion going. Awesome. Very cool. Well, was that seems like the end for that topic. We only really have, despite the giant agenda, one more thing left, which is that Immaterial is hiring a Gotchi Battler game producer. He has a thread up in the Discord, and we already have a few community members nominating for the position, he has the role available to give potential candidates more information. So he's leaving that up for a little bit longer. And anyone that is interested in this role, feel free to jump in. He's looking for someone with exceptional English written and spoken, public speaking ability, experience with X spaces and hangouts, live events, creating content and marketing campaigns, engaging with online communities, and analyzing feedback. So this person will be responsible for managing the socials and marketing content, leading the public communication, organizing community events, and so on. So anyone interested, you have the thread there. Drop your interest in there, and Immaterial will have a very difficult decision to make on who to hire for that role. From there, we have it. So does anyone have anything else that has been happening or they wanted to discuss or bring up any? We have had, forums have been busy. See, what else did we have? We did still have that forum thread about the DAO website. So a lot of people have suggested that Discord is a happier place for the discussion, despite the lack of detail that happened on the discourse forum. So I don't know, I was just thinking maybe that website could be repurposed for other things that the DAO is doing, our missing statements, our previous links to previous proposals, agendas and whatnot, links to the recordings of the meetings and things. I don't know, that was my thought when I was thinking about the DAO website. I don't know if anyone else has any ideas one way or the other on what should be done with it. So that is something else to think about. There is still a thread going for the website. If anyone has any ideas or thoughts one way or the other, please let us know.
I can jump on here at the end. I'll be launching a Discord server, and my project is fully open source, and I'm going to be building some like AI tooling to help in game development. So if anyone's interested in making games and has no idea how to get started, they're kind of perfect for this project. So please reach out.
There we go. Thank you, White Ranger. So any interested people, you know what to do. All right, so does anyone else have anything they'd like to add? Otherwise, I think we might actually be wrapping up early today.
I can add one more thing, Foreign.
Lovely.
So you know how I said how responsive Anthony and the guys at Aragon are? This is a testament to that. We just talked. I quickly shot them a message so I don't forget, right? It's the weekend. I said, hey, just had a DAO com call and was able to discuss what you shared last week. The conversation started because of shielded voting interest, but, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think this is accurate. I said kind of shifted towards also recognizing the importance of multi-chain and on-chain support. And then within, yeah, it's a Saturday, and within 1 minute, Anthony shot back. Sounds good. Yes, this is what I'll prioritize and send your way. We're prepping a proposal. We've been doing a lot of work in the multi-chain space, so perfect timing. So there we go. So let's see what Aragon has to say. I will. I guess this probably deserves its own dedicated thread, and we can compare it to all the other options we have. Like, do we want to just keep doing what we're doing now with Snapshot and maybe integrating their ever expanding amount of features, or re-engage with Aragon? So I'd also be very happy, because I don't really want to manage this, to bring in other members of the community or introduce them directly to Aragon leadership if if that made sense too. So now or later or whenever the time's right. So I'm just putting that out there. But yeah, so responsive. Like
Very
it was
efficient.
crazy. Yes.
Awesome. Love to see it. So awesome. Well, I look forward to seeing that thread popping up and seeing where the discussion takes it. The other thing I suppose I might just pop in is we still had a discussion from a couple weeks on the Octave onboarding kind of dashboard for tracking the DAO treasury. So having a look in the thread, there hasn't been much discussion lately, but Atreus from Octave has come on to just confirm that it's not a cookie cutter design, that it is actually tailored to us to a certain extent. He's been working with Maxi Crouton to get the information we would like and need included in that. So anyone that has any thoughts or suggestions one way or the other, that thread is still open and we can see if that goes anywhere, because it wasn't hugely expensive. So if it is actually going to provide benefit, it might be something we want to keep moving. And other than that, I think I'm all out. Does anyone else have anything more they want to add? All good. All good. Well, it looks like we're getting an early mark. We will see you all again next week. Thank you everyone who joined us in the audience, all our speakers and community members who are helping make the Gotchi world bigger and brighter. Thanks very much everyone for coming. All right. No face, sorry, I can't. So thanks for joining us everyone, and we'll see you next week.